to talk about democracy in Africa, one must contextualize one's assessment of democracy. One must quickly remind oneself that today, several years after 55 odd African countries regained their independence from their erstwhile colonizers, Africa still remains a continent that is defined by others. We remain a continent which European powers define casually as Francophone, to mean former French colonies, casually as Anglophone, to mean former British colonies, Lusophone casually, to mean former Portuguese colonies. The Italians may not have a phone for themselves, but I believe they do in their guarded moments. The Belgians may be shy, but I believe they do. The latter-day occupants and describers of Africa, whether from the West or from the East, in the quiet moments and the inner sanctums of their machinations, must have a way of defining and denigrating us. That is our continent. Even when we are told about democracy, we are tested on standards that are external to us. When we hold our elections, they are not deemed to be complete until we have a scorecard. And those scorecards will be from the European Union, from the Commonwealth, or some other erstwhile colonizers and the organizations that they have created over the years. And it is only when they say that we have passed the litmus test that we are deemed to be democratic. That is the Africa that I'm talking about. The Africa that you have invited me to talk about and to contextualize within Zambia is one that has a painful history and is not perhaps the right occasion to go into the annals of history. But it would be remiss on my part, and indeed on the part of anybody who stood on a podium such as this, not to remember that this continent was enslaved and that our erstwhile enslavers are the ones who now pontificate to us. It would be remiss on my part not to say that those enslavers turned colonizers ran roughshod over us, and that before they ran roughshod over us, they sat somewhere in Berlin, in Germany in 1884, and without any care, they parceled us into spheres of influence, and they dehumanized us. They named our countries as they willed, and even rivers which had long sustained our ancestors, they gave names. So that even today, when I traverse the land of Zambia, as indeed other parts of Africa, I still find lakes called Victoria in honor of a British monarch. I still find a fall called Victoria Falls, not Mosi Otunya. I still find a town called Livingston. I look forward to the day, I hope it will be during the administration of Hakainde Hichilema, that those names will be changed. And they did not stop there. After they had parceled us out, they took away our artifacts and they took them to European museums, and they are still there. And after they had finished and they were pushed out by our founding fathers in the 1940s, running through the 1950s, we decided that we were not going to be colonized. And I can hear through the vicissitudes of time the immortal words of Ghana's Kwame Nkrumah, that we as Africans would prefer to live in freedom rather than to live in servitude. And there was not only Kwame Nkrumah. Here in Zambia, you'll remember the selfless efforts of Kenneth David Kaunda. You will remember great Africans such as Modibo Keita in Mali, Ahmed Ben Bella in Algeria, Gamal Abdel Nasser in Egypt, Kambarage Nyerere in Tanzania, Ahmed Sékou Touré in Guinea, Leopold Sédar Senghor in Senegal, Apollo Milton Obote in Uganda, Jomo Kenyatta in Kenya, Haile Selassie in Ethiopia, and much later you will remember Sobukwe in South Africa, Mandela, NATO, Marshall, Nuyoma, and many other stalwarts who stood so very firm. And I remember so very distinctly on the 6th day of March 1957, when the then Gold Coast regained our independence as Ghana, with the Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah as the Prime Minister. And he said then that the freedom of Ghana meant nothing if the rest of Africa was not free. He said famously then that let us seek first the political kingdom and the rest shall be given unto us. We sought and obtained the political kingdom. The rest has been coming in spits and spats. But those words remain as true today as they were when they were spoken. I remember 2 years later in Casablanca, Morocco, the Osagyefo once again reminded his audience, at least those who cared to listen to him, that the imperialists have left. But remember that the imperialists, like the cheetah before it, never changes its spots. He may wear different masks, but he changes not. Kwame may not have been a prophet, but his words have been fulfilled over the years. 3 years later, on the 25th day of May 1963, in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, if possessed, he told those who were present If we do not unite now, if we do not live with a single government now,